Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. My name is Laura and today I'm going to be taking you through our first room reveal for the house. If you haven't been following along and you are new, I will pop the playlist below for our renovation. My partner and I bought our first home, which is a 5-bed Victorian house. It's got beautiful bones, but it needed a lot of work, and I'm going to be showing you today the before and afters of the first space that we have finished off. And if you have been following the journey, I can hear you screaming at the camera, but Laura, what did you decide to do with this space? Because as I said in the beginning, I think right back in the home tour, we weren't quite sure what we were going to do with the space. Obviously, we moved from a flat to a house, so we had so much space that we didn't quite know what to do with. And as soon as we thought of the idea to rent it out, have a lodger come in and earn an income off of it, it was just a no-brainer. It made total sense for us. And it was by far the best way to be savvy with our money for doing up the rest of the house in the renovations. So this is what that area has been. So I'm going to take you through today, as you might be able to be seeing a sneak peek behind me. There's a hallway which comes off of the kitchen, a private bathroom and a bedroom, and we're also letting them have a little space of patio outside too. So I'm really excited to take you through. Do you guys remember what it looked like before? Pretty terrible, but we're going to take that journey back right now, and I'm going to get my handy man to come on in and hold the camera whilst I show you guys around. So let's start by orientating you in the space a little bit. We are on the ground floor, and this is towards the back of the house. So this would have been an extension on the original house, and it's really beautiful because it's got a lot of light which comes throughout it and it leads onto the garden. The only thing that we have changed kind of structurally, which isn't really anything, is we put a door. You are currently stood in the kitchen and this space didn't have a door, it just led through to this area. So we put a door on to make it a little bit more private for both parties, and obviously because it would make it quieter. Kitchen's going to have a lot of activity with the dishwasher going on. So we actually pinched the door from the other side of the kitchen and moved it over here. So next up, talking about this hallway. So this is the first space that you enter, and usually when this room is rented out, we're going to have that door closed. So you'll come in and this will be all of their lovely space that they can just totally relax in. It feels really airy and it just gives them that self-contained feeling. When we were thinking about this whole space, we had to be really practical on, number one, the money that was spent on it. So it was on an exceedingly tight budget, and a lot of the things that I'm going to show you are secondhand at a very reasonable price, and also something that worked for somebody who wanted to rent it out, and that was neutral, so it wasn't too masculine or feminine, and it just felt really relaxing and easy. So the first room that we come into is the hallway, and I wanted to make this a little bit of a space so that it didn't just feel like a walk-through area, somewhere that they could come in, dump their coat, maybe put their keys, even a pair of shoes, to make it into an extra room. Now looking at the before of this space, it was quite dark. We had an issue with nicotine which led throughout the whole of the house, and a lot of stuff needed to be pulled down and changed. Every single wall in this house was covered with wallpaper, and this hallway was no exception. From what I remember, it was pink, so the first thing we did was pull that down. The next thing that we looked at was the flooring. The flooring, both in the hallway and the bathroom, was cork, and they'd actually painted on it in a dark green effect. It was hell to get up, but it was so nice to have it finally up because it definitely needed to go. You'll also notice from the before pictures that over at the window here, there was a lot of shelving, which we decided to take down to open up the space and make it a lot brighter. This is a lovely big window and we get a lot of light, which is very much needed because actually the bathroom to the right of me here doesn't have any natural light coming through. This little peephole is the light that it gets from this window here. So we wanted to make it as bright as possible. We kept the windowsill as it was and all of the windows. There was no point in us changing anything, and on that note, all of the electrics stayed the same. So we painted it white. The ceiling was in a swirl effect, so we did our own little plaster job on that. It was yellow originally, but we don't know if it was painted or from the nicotine. Swapped out the light and we kept this one the same as the kitchen so that it kind of links the room through. And then the only other thing that we did with this space is put a rug down on the floor to just make it feel a little bit more homely. So this space really was a huge amount of paint and hopefully a little area that they could also make their own. Now from this hallway to the right, you come into the bathroom. This was probably where a lot more work had to happen. Going to the before footage, it was yellow, and I think actually they had a theme up on the wall here that was like the beach. It had like blue and it faded up. No, it was blue at the top and it faded down to yellowy, almost sand colour. They'd used this area for a washing machine, and on the top they had a worktop and storage, which we decided to keep. And on the other side they had an avocado suite. The toilet actually leaked really badly, which was bubbling up all of the core flooring and was just pretty terrible. So obviously all of that came out. The sink unit was a vanity, and we also had it, I believe it was tiled up to this line, which was the main reason why we decided to do the paneling. We didn't get any help in from trade downstairs, so it was important to us that we could manage it all ourselves. And when the tiles came off, it started ripping off the plaster, so we had to think really quickly, and we thought about putting the paneling in, which worked amazingly. If you're wanting to hide anything in the house, panel it over. Such an easy job, and I'm so glad that we did, because it's really added some kind of style to this room. They then had a shower towards the back here, which was one of the smallest showers that I've seen. It was all boxed in and it felt really claustrophobic, as well as a window up the top, which was just the green glass, which we wanted to get rid of because it wasn't a window that led outside that you could open, and there wasn't really much purpose to it because it didn't let any light in either. So we decided to box that over and put a nice big shower in instead. So for the new suite, we went totally second hand, and I'm just gonna tell you the rough prices of them all because I don't remember exactly, but the shower unit, so that was all of the glass and the tray, we picked up from a buy and sell website at £50. The electric shower was new, and it was just replaced with from the old electric shower, so that we didn't have to change any piping. And all of the tiles were also second hand. I can't believe the price of them, but they were, I think, something around £10 because they had just got far too many tiles in, so we took them off of their hands. The sink, I believe, was around the £20–25 mark, and the toilet was also around 15 to 20. And we found it really quite easy to find something that seemed to match him. All of the whites matched together. Maybe it was luck, but I think buying secondhand, especially with bathrooms, is just amazing because give it a quick clean and it is like new. So the new bathroom suite came to under £100, which is next to nothing when you're looking at bathrooms. I couldn't recommend it more. And then apart from that, we only put in a few accessories. We put in a shelf to the right of me here, which can take a little hand towel in just a few little bits that they may need. Might be taking out the plant if they're not plant lovers, because it is real. And then we kept the shelving to the back here, which is just nice storage if they want to have a few more towels. I popped up some paintings. These are just frames from Dun Elm, which I pretty much 2 minutes before this video just drew some lines over. I actually painted them on with the Annie Sloan paint and threw them up to tie in a little bit of a theme of the grey-black, which leads throughout the whole of the space. And then the only other things that we changed were the light. I made sure to get one that was LED that would be really bright because, as I mentioned, there's no window in here. Changed over all of the pulleys so that they were fresh and new, and we put in an extractor fan, a really good quiet one so that it wouldn't get too steamy in here. So pretty much a really good lick of paint and some second-hand items, and this room has been finished off and we're so pleased with it. I really hope its new owner loves it as much as we do. And then the next room that you come into is obviously the main room, so you come back through the hallway and you come into the bedroom. This is probably one of my favourite rooms in the whole house because of its leading on to the garden and the light that it gets. So taking this one back to the before images, there was a green carpet in here. Structurally, again, it was all quite similar. They had a green theme, which actually ran throughout the whole of this. In the paint, they had a lot of green gloss paint. It went all around the windows. And the only area which we did get a little bit of help in was in here, because the ceiling was in the swells, but it was in such a large area and it had a huge amount of nicotine, which we're not sure we could have covered ourselves. So we got this area plastered, just the ceiling, and also we did do the window surrounds because they were in gloss. We decided that that would be a good idea to get those done, and then we wouldn't have to deal with stripping all of the gloss, and it made it just such a lovely bright space. On this wall, which backs onto the bathroom, there was a huge amount of cabinets which we stripped out. There was also a corner cabinet down to the corner here, and a lot of desks built in. So a huge amount of woodwork which needed to come out, but as soon as it was pulled out, we could really see the room and what we wanted to do with it. Once this space had been gutted and it had had a million coats of paint and the floor changed, we were ready to start bringing some furniture in. And I'll start over this side of the room. We really had to think practically in this space, not just beautifully, because it had to have all of the items that somebody would need to just live in one particular room, because obviously they don't have other parts of the house. So instead of having a bedside either side of the bed, we decided to go for a chest of drawers, which is just a really great space saving hack. If you can get one like this one behind me, which is a nice height for a bedside, it just works perfectly to add extra storage into the room. This one here is actually new in from IKEA, and I absolutely love it because I love that mix of old and new furniture, and the green colour is just absolutely amazing. So it has 4 drawers to it for storage. On top, we've just got a bedside lamp, which I'll link everything below that is in this room if I can find links to it. But it's from a company that sells lights at wholesale prices, so really, really good prices. And then just a few pieces which are from charity shops. To the side of me here, we have some prints from Desenio. I worked with them recently and I absolutely love these two. And I kind of built a theme on this room that was on this kind of monochrome colour with a few neutral tones to it. Moving to the side here, the first item that I actually got for the room were the rugs, which I'm currently standing on. And they were, I believe they were £5 each, so £10 for the both of them. And it brought me into that theme again, kind of that neutral black and white colour. And the bed, I wanted to do the same with it. So the actual bed frame, we were really lucky that my parents were redoing a lot of their house too. So we had a lot of hand-me-downs from them, and we were lucky enough to pick up this bed from them. It was actually in a leather headboard though, so I just made a slit for it and changed it over for this neutral colour to just make it a little bit more in fitting with the room. As far as the bedding, I kept it fresh and white and added some really nice throws to the bottom, as well as some cushions. And to tie it all in together, I actually made the canvas myself. Well, I didn't make the canvas, I painted the canvas above the bed to bring in all of those colours. I think that's the thing with the room, is to try and bring in all of the themes of colours. So maybe start with one element, whether it's a painting that you love or a rug, and build all of the colours off of that. Pick out the colours for a cushion or a painting, and the theme will come together. Above the bed, we changed the light fitting. I think the fitting is actually from Amazon, but the shade is from Next. And again, I just wanted to tie in all of those neutral colours. To the end of the bed, still stood on the rug, which I really love. You can keep comfy on the rug the whole way round. We popped in a desk somewhere where you can sit and do some work or your makeup, whatever you choose. The desk was one of my favourite buys secondhand. I absolutely love it. I saw something very similar for, gosh, like 10 times the price in Neptune. I picked this one up, I think, for the £45 mark, and it has a little drawer in the front for some more storage too. The chair here is actually a set of dining room chairs that we used to have, but we're no longer using because we don't have a dining table. Popped on a mirror if they wanted to use it as a dressing table, a little pen pot, and some books kind of the local area down in Cornwall. We're not near Cornwall, but it's a lovely place to visit if you are around this area. And a lamp for if they want to do any work in the evening. We also fitted in a blackout blind in this window here, which I just had to size down a smidgen from Dunham, and I absolutely love it. It looks like it was made for that space, which it wasn't. I feel like it was quite a reasonable price, I think around the £25 mark, but I'll link it so that you know the price. Again, items which are from charity shops, and one of my favourite areas This view as you come down the hallway is my absolute favourite view in this space, and I love this little corner here. It's like a little reading nook. So we did decide to put in an armchair here, and this might not be the armchair that you're thinking of. We did buy this one brand new. We bought a second-hand one, but it just didn't quite work out. This one is from Habitat. It is so lovely. It's really beautifully comfortable, and I don't know, it just feels like it was meant for this space because it's not too big, but still you can really sit in it. I can put my legs up and just feel really cozy of an evening. The cushion on top of it is from H&M. And then another feature which I really love is this little shelf up here, which is just for picture frames. The shelf itself was from Desenio, and then the print here with flowers in was actually in the house previously, which I love. It's like a little bit of the previous owner still in the house. And then this frame was too. I just painted it up. I think it was in a baby blue colour. I painted it same colour of the woodwork and to tie it all in a little bit. Then we move around to the double doors, which needed a huge amount of cleaning. I can't tell you how many times we cleaned these, but I really love how the curtains made these look. It just gave it a much more kind of delicate space with these. These are done out, and these curtains here were really kindly gifted to us. Put in the black pole, which I love the like pop next to the white, and it just ties in with our theme a little bit. The outside space, if you can see just behind me, I'm not going to take you out there, but the paved area will be their little private area, and I'm going to talk to whoever comes in, whether it's temporary or long term, and see whether they like gardening, because I don't want to totally cut off the space if they don't want to do any gardening. So we're going to do that a bit at a later time, but they have a nice table and chairs out there to be able to sit down. On the little window sill here, I just have a few other bits, rose picked from the garden outside, and another pot from the charity shop. And then the last item in the room is one of my favourites, and it's second hand. We picked this one up quite locally, and it's just the perfect little one-person sized wardrobe. I think that it's such a nice little size, fits perfectly in the room, and I painted this in Annie Sloan graphite, and it gives a gorgeous matte texture without being too matte. You can it's been waxed, so you can touch it without it going kind of funny like chalk paint sometimes can. All in all, I am so pleased with how the room turned out and the whole space altogether. We've actually already listed it and had so much interest, so we're really pleased. It's obviously paid off. I hope that you guys enjoyed coming around and seeing the space and what we've done with it, knowing what we're going to do, and yeah, hopefully it's a little bit of an insight, because I know I haven't been showing you this space as we've been working on it, and obviously moving forward we won't be coming in this area at all because it will be private. It's been quite the journey, but I have absolutely loved it. Thank you guys for coming along. Please do give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe if it gave you any inspiration. Don't forget to hit me up in the comments below and let me know what you liked and didn't like, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye!